Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Trudge Report. We are a recovery-based podcast, but if you're not ready to get sober, or you're not sober, or you're having trouble staying sober, that's okay. We talk about plenty of other things, including sports, trending topics, a little bit of independence in honor of Independence Day. I am your host. My name is Sean. I'm joined by my good friends and fellow Trudgers, Bill, Corey, and Greg. Check out new episodes of Trudge Report every Tuesday. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, iHeartRadio. You can also check us out and watch us every Friday or a little later each week. Our episodes will come out on YouTube and Facebook. Please be sure to download, like, and share on all your listening platforms. You can find us any social media handles at Trudge Report Pod. Again, that's at Trudge Report Pod. We're brought to you, as always, by the fabulous Stella Mix Podcast Management and the wonderful producer and editor, Miss Janine Stella. Gentlemen, good evening. We are here on Friday, July 5th. Happy day after Independence Day, America. How is everybody doing? We're going to go around the horn real quick and say hello. Greg, we'll start with you, sir.
I'm doing free. That's how I'm doing. And it feels great.
Had a baby.
Ate a lot of food yesterday. Had a real nice family cookout. Little kids running all over the place, playing games, playing slip and slide. The cool thing was we were going to go catch some fireworks. It was overcast here in Cleveland yesterday. Kind of put a little bit of a damper on the holiday, but we're gonna still try to go out and watch some fireworks last night. And the neighbor here, I call him the neighbor because I don't know his name, but the neighbor spent easily $6,000 on fireworks.
Wow.
And it was an epic showdown in the old cul-de-sac here in the aptly named Independence, Ohio.
Ooh,
and
forgot about that.
So
right.
we were.
Is that really where you live? That's the name of the city?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I never knew that.
Is this $6,000? Like, is this noted by him? That's a pretty random number.
I mean,
where'd that evaluation is that?
Listen. I know numbers. I know.
All right, my man.
Okay. All right.
I figured as such. I just wanted to make sure that was.
I eyeballed it, but yeah.
I figured.
I'm an ass man.
It.
I'm an ass man. Greg's a numbers man. What can we say?
Yeah. That's right.
How do you not know his name, dude?
I gotta go introduce myself to him now and just be like, dude, thank you for the impromptu free fireworks show. It was awesome. I had Kenny Loggins' Highway to the Danger Zone just blaring in the background the whole time, and life was good, dude. Life was good it went for a good half hour. It was as good as any city show, that's for sure.
Who was it? David Goggins?
No, Kenny Loggins.
What the fuck
Kenny
did you
Loggins,
just say?
whoever the hell that is.
David Goggins. I'm trying to get
There's one.
I'm trying to get hyped up for the gym while I'm watching fireworks, bro.
He's got
some fireworks now.
Dude, I tell you what, though, I will say that if you guys don't know about David Goggins, if you ever need to just get some real quick hype in your life, just put that guy on. But yeah, that was it. That was good.
Cool. What about you, Bill? I know you're traveling. If you want to,
I didn't listen to any Kenny Lofton, but I had a good weekend. I had a great week. So it started the week lakeside at my brother-in-law's house and over in a little community out of Richmond. They triggered up pork shoulder, lakeside party. Then we came over here, and I've been at my aunt's, and they are retired this past year from the restaurant business. Salute to them, my Aunt Maggie, my Uncle Giannis, and we're at her daughter's house. They've been very great guests. We had the suite on the other side of the house, and the pool's right here. But they're excellent cooks. I mean, we were eating yesterday. I sent you guys pictures, right? Like the fillets, they had like 30 fillets on the grill, and we've had octopus, shrimp, lamb today. I mean, we're eating good. So it's back to reality. I'd say.
Are you home?
No, I'm still here. I just hopped out of the pool. Actually, up to I wanted to get here, and do this, but up to like 5 minutes, I was still on the fence, contingent on what was going on. Then we just did a long karaoke session. I did a little wagon wheel. I do know about that. And I lit
Kid
that
Rock,
booth
huh?
on fire. No Kid Rock. Because the Kid Rock I like is a little down, so I wanted to play a little something more upbeat for him.
Crowd pleaser.
Kids did a lot. Yeah, I'm a crowd pleaser, right? And I was gonna do hurt or something like that, get it real depressed in here. But I decided I'll forego that. The kids did Taylor Swift. They were loving that. They did that.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just fun, man. Like shout out to my cousin. Like yesterday, she planned an EDM rave for the kids and like had like glow things and playing EDM music and none of that, guys. There's none of that involved. It was kid friendly.
Listen,
I see your
we
face.
didn't
Hey,
think- we
no
didn't-
judgment
no.
if there was.
We didn't think so.
Greg, that looked like a little
Child services might disagree, but sure, fine.
Disclaimer, no. So, but every day she's had like an event like that. They had stuff outside. It's just above and beyond, man. So it's been treated really well, and it's great to have. It's like a mini family reunion here. We got family in from all over. So it's just a great feeling to be here and experience this love, man. So yeah, and I'm grateful to be here with you boys tonight.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
yeah, it's been great.
You heading back tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, contingent on when I wake up. And I told them, they're like, well, what if the kids are sleeping? Well, tough shit. I'll be playing Reveille outside the
Sleep
door
in
when
the
I'm
car.
ready.
Ooh,
The
banger.
truck's packed already, so I'm ready.
Good.
Yeah.
Best part about a vacation sometimes is getting home.
Did you drive your
Absolutely.
truck up there, Bill? Or
Yeah. Drove
Nice.
my truck. She's holding up well. Old silver bullet.
she roadworthy?
It's nice, man. All the luggage in the back and plenty of room. So
Yep.
kids were very well behaved, man. Shout out to
Good.
my kids. They got good parents.
Shout out to the kids. Very good.
Yeah.
Corey, what's up, buddy? You still up in Minnesota?
I am. Yeah, I'm doing well.
Are you ever coming back?
Yeah, we'll see.
Corey,
No,
I've had some
actually-
people this week asking me, like, what's the deal? Like, so I guess there's some people who listen to our podcast. So you're in Minnesota for work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're heading back, basically still a question mark. Several fans asked me this week. That's why I'm
Several
asking
fans. Well,
you. Yes.
Fans want to know. The fans want
the
to
people
know.
want to know, Corey. They want to know
Well,
the story.
I like to keep my personal life personal, but I
Your
guess
children
the
are
fans want it.
crying.
No, I'm just kidding. No, my children are in New Jersey actually.
They're
Um,
crying.
So here's the deal. I'll let everybody know my plans so the fans can track my private jet. On the,
Corey
believe
Tracker.
I believe it's going to be the 18th. I'm going to fly to New Jersey, spend some time with family there, and then around the 27th we will drive back to Florida. So it
Are they
became a
gonna
long.
Are they going to be in New Jersey that whole time?
Yeah, they're in Jersey this whole time. Gabby
Jeez.
wanted to go. I mean, Gabby works from
That's a
home
long,
too.
I know.
So
I'm just saying that's
yeah, it was a good opportunity for like her to spend a lot of time with her parents and help her mom with things around the house and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's
So-
awesome.
So yeah, it's been pretty good. Like aside from being apart, it's been really good. So that's the only thing.
Cool.
But worth it. I tell
but
people all
not
the time.
but not that good. Not that good because
No, I'm sobbing every night in case Gabby listens. I'm sobbing. Also, something else I'm sobbing about real quick. My 4th was good, and my 4th of July was good. Here spent it here at my buddy Corey's house, and we had some really good food. I ate like 5,000 calories, and it was awesome. I haven't pigged out like that in a long time. Even on cheat days, I haven't pigged out like that. So it was good. Even had a soda. Anyway, Corey's neighbor spent about $40 on fireworks, so not so impressive, but still, that was fine. It was raining here anyway, so that was all well and good. I just want to bring up, aside from that, real quick, that I had said this last week, I think, that the possibility of Dave Matthews playing the song Halloween on his return to Alpine Valley in Wisconsin, that was a real possibility. It became realer than I thought, and it happened, and I didn't go because I'm an imbecile. And I hate myself for it a little bit, but that happened. And I
Were you
just
contemplating going to that one specifically? Or?
it was
Yeah.
contemplated, and I decided that I should just work since I'm here to work. Right. It was supposed to be a nice day. I didn't even work that long in reality, but like it's not that I should have went. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Bro, there will be other opportunities.
You live and you learn.
Oh,
man.
really? How
live
many
and you
times have
learn.
you heard Halloween, Greg, in 75 shows or whatever it's been?
I have heard it 4 times.
So you got 1 out of 20.
Yeah.
You play it.
I've been to 29.
Well, then statistically, it's coming up, baby.
Yeah, you're not slowing down.
You're having what we call an outlier experience in the number game.
Yeah.
It'll make
So-
that time that much more awesome.
Yeah, it will. So I got 2 Dave shows coming up in about 2 weeks in Jersey. So, but yeah, man.
Well,
other
he
than that,
definitely
I'm good.
definitely won't play it on those. I'm sure.
No, I know he
You
won't.
but
I know he won't.
just to
No.
spite
Because he
you,
just
probably.
played it?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, kind of though. Kind of. He only played it this time to make it up to the fans for coming back out to Alpine, middle of nowhere. So
It was
know,
an
we'll see.
epic rendition.
oh yeah, he faked ants marching.
Yeah,
He faked ants marching
really,
into Halloween.
It was real good.
Ugh.
Did you
I
go,
know.
Greg?
No. I had originally talked to Corey about like because that was a postponed show because one of the nights got canceled or whatever. I
Got it.
originally talked to Corey when he was going to be up there, and I'm like, maybe I'll fly and we can meet each other there. But Alpine Valley, for those of us that don't know where that's at, it is literally in the middle of nowhere. So like even for him, and he's within the same state or close to it, it's
About
still
4.5
6
hours.
hours. It would have been 8 hours
4.5.
drive for me.
Hmm.
So it's like,
You can't make them all.
yeah.
You know.
And like you said, you're up there with goals in mind.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm.
You know what? I'm proud of you, Corey.
Thanks.
As am I.
You held your.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what else I tried to do today? I'm trying to get a tattoo. And
Why are you what's the try part mean? Don't you just go get one?
well, here's the thing, Sean. I've never had a professional tattoo done. And when I
That's
went
fine.
there,
I've never had a non-professional one either. So
well, when I went there, and I had a consultation with the guy and stuff, and we talked about everything. All is well, everything's fine. And then he goes, "Yeah, I don't have availability till the 25th." And I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think that you do other people's tattoos and not just mine. I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
So I got to.
It's also a
the-
good sign from a tattoo artist. You don't want them to be
Yeah.
readily available. That's a bad
That's true.
Well,
That's true.
and especially nowadays, the good ones, due to
Yeah.
popularity of shows like Ink Master and stuff like that, the good ones, like they book up months. The last guy that did my last tattoo, I had to book him like 8 months ahead of time. So
Yeah, God,
tough
they
life.
book-
this is basically my life's falling apart, Sean.
You know what's funny is I actually went to a tattoo expo recently, a tattoo convention.
those are
Really?
fun.
I did not get a tattoo. Don't worry. Although my wife thought it would be funny. They did have some temporary booths to get like a really big, obnoxious temporary tattoo and just send it to my mom. But shout out to my buddy Tyler. Corey, you know my buddy Tyler
Yep.
from our recovery group. He and his business partner, they own a little company, which the name of the company is escaping me at the moment, but no free ads. They put on tattoo expos and conventions and other like art conventions and music and stuff. And they did the Palm Beach Convention Center, Palm Beach County Convention Center, week before last. And I'll tell you what, I'd never been, obviously, didn't know what to expect. Very out of place. It was phenomenal. Like they did an awesome, just the two of them in their company. They had a live band, they had a farmer's market, they had food, they had 300 tattoo artists. And then like a handful of other like health and wellness booths and like skincare and fitness and, essential oils, like that kind of stuff. People like selling that stuff, but they had 300 tattoo artists. My wife got a little piece on her arm. A handful of people we know were there. Corey, actually, Bill, Corey, Greg, you probably know some of them too. I had never seen anything like it. It was really cool. He did a phenomenal job. So just on the note of tattoos.
Did they have
Question.
like any of the contortionists or anything there? Like that's always
I don't think I saw any of them. They did have some company, which honestly it freaked me out, so I didn't get close to it to see the name of the company. But these like two girls dressed up in like the murdering horror clown costumes, and I forget what they were doing, but they were like, it was very strange. So
But why did
definitely
you-
like out of place
did
a
your
little
bu-
bit, but it was cool.
Why did your buddy name his what's the correlation? You said he named it Escaping Me at the moment?
The name is Escape. His name, the company
It's
is
a dad
Escaping
joke,
Me.
Sean.
Got
I
it.
couldn't tell. I was like,
I
Bill,
didn't get
dude,
that.
what the hell,
I
man?
didn't get that.
I was gonna play it stupid through that one, but I don't want to sound that stupid.
Yeah. So
John,
it was
so-
really cool.
So, Sean, I got two questions. One, did you just go for the hell of it? Just to have a good time or whatever?
We went to support him and check it out, and we were having date night, my wife and I. So it's down in West Palm, so we went to City Place and had dinner.
Gotcha.
And she wanted to get. We really just went to support him and check it out and just do something different. And she wanted to get a little piece.
Hopefully not a Ravens logo.
No, she didn't.
Okay,
she got some kind of. She got some kind of cross, but not just a cross. It's like, I can't really explain it. It was cool. It was like real cheap and small. It took like.
Did he do it?
20 minutes. He doesn't do tattoos himself. He just puts on the expos. He's got a bunch of them, but cool. My wife made friends with I forget the guy's company's name, but some guy who basically like they became fast friends. They both told each other their life story in about 30 minutes and but it was really cool.
I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Would you ever consider a tattoo? And if not, why not?
I have considered it. My wife has been trying to get me to do one for a while. You guys know how I feel about like the fact that I quit smoking. Like I don't smoke cigars. I don't dip. I don't do Zyn. I don't do any of that. Like I'm very, like I feel strongly about that. Like I'm very proud of myself in an appropriate way. I feel that I don't do that, that I've stayed away from it since April 2013. And I know there'd be nothing wrong with me having a cigar, like playing golf with my dad or something. Like that's not, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel the same way about tattoos. Like I love my wife's, and I actually love other people's too. Like I know some of you guys have some, or I know Greg has some. I love other people's as well. I love my wife's, her arm piece, but it's like almost like my social media. I just have no desire to have one. Absolutely no desire. I love them on other people. Like our buddy Dustin, the mechanic, when he takes his shirt off, literally looks like a Russian gangster, like in prison. It's like the coolest thing in the world. But I have no desire to get one.
That's fair.
So,
that's fair.
Well, I will supplement your non-desire with my desire to have more. So
yeah,
my wife wants more too, man.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is next.
I was trying to get.
If I did get one,
that was a good question.
Yeah, if I did get one, I'm had a long day and I'm drawing a blank. It's a Sanskrit word for contentment, basically. Somebody just sent me a Zelle, whoever that is. Who's that?
That's me.
Oh, okay. That's for that.
Middle of the show.
We still got a few days.
There, that cocaine you fronted me.
Yeah, really. It's a Sanskrit word, santosha, and it basically means complete contentment or something along those lines. I've always thought it was just a cool word, and it's Sanskrit. It's not like super common, obviously.
Right.
So if I did get one, that might be what it'd be, but I really have no desire to. So
I was trying to get an arm piece, like just on my forearm, on one of my forearms, because every time I'm with Greg and Kyle and Carm, I just look like a naked, bland piece of crap or something. Like that's what I feel like compared to them, and I'm just like,
I would never call you bland, bro.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
You are a robust, girthy piece of crap, Corey.
Yeah,
just smelly. So, just real quick, in here, you guys, it's funny because none of you are actually in our undisclosed location that the 3 out of 4 of us live in. The city that we live in, guys, they did not show up for fireworks. It was a terrible showing for fireworks in our downtown area. We went on the Intercoastal.
Really?
Remember, like we did a few years ago, Corey went to the Intercoastal. Yeah. I did not hit golf balls into the water. I was told I shouldn't do that this time. But
by the Roosevelt, you mean, right?
No, by the Causeway.
Going to Soul's Point.
Towards the Marriott. Good. Yeah, towards the Marriott.
Yeah, it's been pretty good years past.
It's been
very
good. They did
them by the Roosevelt too, Sean.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The reason we go to the Causeway is there was like 20 of us that went out there is because you see many different locations across the horizon in both directions. Right. So that was kind of cool, and that's still cool. And it was breezy, and it wasn't like fighting the traffic in downtown. So it was still fun. We had a great time, but like the main downtown area that does it, on the barge out there on the water, like it just wasn't. It was very underwhelming. Very underwhelming.
That sucks.
Kind of disappointed. We might need to go talk to the county commissioners. Bill, I know you have an into that. We might need to set up a meeting for next year. So
one of us should run for office. What we should do.
But yeah,
Bill.
Well, Bill's kind of
mayor for years now.
Yeah, he's the mayor of a small North Carolina town already. At least
undisclosed location.
Undisclosed mountain town. So,
nice.
But we had a barbecue at a friend's house. It was fun. The girls my youngest daughter, I think she overdosed on watermelon, and they played in the pool all day. So it was phenomenal. I played golf in the morning. My well pump broke the night before, so we were like 32 hours without water. That was fun, but it's all fixed. Everything's good, and yeah, been busy. My youngest daughter turned 5 last Monday. She wanted to go to Dune
Oh,
Dogs.
yeah.
That was her special request, Dune Dogs.
Dune
So,
Dogs.
dude,
Dune
she
Dogs slaps.
we went there before, and she remembers that she gets ice cream with her kids' meal, and like in her mind, like that was it. That was done. There was no place else. She's like, I get ice cream with it. I was like,
Wait
great.
till I see her. I'm going to tell her you get that same thing at Culver's.
Yeah, well, listen, settle down over there. Settle down over there. But I was like, Grace, we'll take you for ice cream. She's like, no, I get it with my meal. I was like, oh, okay.
That's awesome.
So good week. All good on
happy
all
birthday
good
to
here.
Grace.
Yeah, all good
Yeah.
here, man. She's doing good. So other than that, man, just had like half the week off because I had Monday off and today and yesterday. So just doing some stuff around the house and playing some golf. All good. All
Glad to
good.
hear it.
So that being said, Greg, do you want to kind of, take us into, we kind of have like a mini segment that we wanted to talk about in honor of Independence Day. So if Greg, you want to just kind of
Yeah, for sure.
rip one in there.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just kind of celebrate America a little bit, and we can maybe go around and talk about a little bit of the things that we're grateful for living in this country and having been blessed enough to be born here and everything like that. And honestly, like that's, we live in a time of like political strife and stuff going on. Thankfully, not a lot of it here on American soil, but things that we take for granted that are, wars and other horrendous stuff going on in multiple other countries around the world. And I think that, overall, there just seems to be a lot of, I would say like, I wouldn't say hatred towards America, but there's a lot of anti-America out there nowadays. And, for all of our faults, I think that, when you see these protests and stuff like that happening on TV and across cities in our nation and stuff like that, I just always dwell on the fact is like, it's funny to me that a lot of the same people that are, hating on America are American citizens that are lucky enough to be driving around their Teslas and drinking their Starbucks coffee and going to their nice paying job and everything like that. But I guess that's another thing of what we can be absolutely grateful and thankful for here is the fact that you can have whatever kind of viewpoint and opinion you want on this great country, and you are free to speak it. So, but yeah, man, it always kind of gets, and certainly obviously on America's birthday, but I think maybe we could do all better all the time. I know I could. I'm being just like, take a step back for a second, look at what's going on in the world and be thankful that, man, I was born at the right place at the right, GPS coordinates at the right time, man, because there is a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world today. So, but yeah, man, I mean, for all the negatives, man, we got Kid Rock, we got barbecues, we got baseball, you know what I'm saying? We've got a very, very diverse culture of people spread out through the country. We've got great education, we while it is the cost of living is high in some of our areas of the country, relatively speaking, our our way of life here is much better. Even if you just look at the basic things like we all mostly have access to, except for Sean when his well went out for a little while, but potable water and things like that. So access
I
to.
had many friends that allowed us offered to come use their homes and it's everything, which is kind of online with what you're saying. So grateful for it.
Absolutely. Because like think about those just those resources that we all take for granted because we're all used to, when they say like living the American dream, it's like because it is an absolute dream to other people. We live it every day. For other people in other parts of the world, man, it's just a pipe dream. So that was kind of like the idea that I had, is just like, give props to America. It's the 4th of July. We're celebrating our independence and our birthday here as a great nation, and just put some good juju back out into the world. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Greg. I like that. And, it's you made a good point. Like a lot of people, and I'm sure the four of us have been guilty of it at some point, but it's a dream to other people that have never lived in this country or this way of life. And that is definitely something that we as a society take for granted sometimes, or just need to like remember to be grateful for. So that's pretty cool. I got something I'll save. I'll let Corey and Bill go, but I have just a kind of an example of why I think it's a wonderful country, and especially Florida where I live. So
yeah,
Bill, you want to go next, or Corey, do you want to go next? Arm wrestle for it. Virtual arm wrestle.
Rock, paper, scissors, right? All right. So it's funny Greg mentions that because I just my cousin Mara's here. And when I came back from Peru, I told you guys I went to Peru for like 6 weeks or 5 weeks or so. And she was there when I got back, and I didn't remember this.
You were in jail in Peru, right?
I wasn't in jail. I was in a hut.
I'm kidding. I know. I'm kidding.
And I was in the poor side of Lima, Peru, which is a city of like, I don't know, 7-10 million people. And she said, when you got back, you were so grateful to take a shower. I forgot about that. You know what I mean? Like that was real. You know what I mean? Like that. It was no running water, and like Peru isn't even really considered like a bottom of the barrel nation, like if I think about like the worst nation. So yeah, I mean, that too, and what Greg was saying too is like how grateful we can be, and the fact that there's a lot of people right now that are in a hospital praying to God that they can have the moment we have right now, which is just oxygen, good health. You got oxygen and good health, some family and a couple close friends, food on your table, lights, and water. You're ahead of like 90% of the people on Earth. You know what I mean? So I've been reflecting on that on this trip. But to me, for the America topic, it's the American spirit. It's this once in a lifetime chance at democracy, because I think democracy is a big deal. The way that the country is, everything is schematically written in this country is why it's been so successful. And I think it cultivates a lot of opportunity for people and creativity and business inventions. And that's why we've led the way in so many of these things to become such a great nation. Now, look, from a perspective of the spearhead of the government, I'm not going to get into all that. There's definitely a lot of things I do not agree with, but the American spirit of the people, like the right to bear arms, even though we are prosperous, right? And continuing to hold that's important. That's ornery, you know what I mean? But that's also not taking any crap, like not letting people walk over you. The ideas of elections and the judicial system and everything and how it came set up is a it's a combination of a lot of other failed great ideas that were like other government systems that we got this system, and we got to be grateful for it, and we got to fight for it, because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people. I saw people chanting death to America in American cities on the 4th of July, which is crazy to me. Like I don't understand it. But you know what? At the heart of that, my American spirit, they have the right to do it. If I don't like it, They have the right to do it. You know what I mean? And I'm a hypocrite if I say, well, they can't do that. You can do it. You can say that. But I also question where those people's heads are at. So, but yeah, man, there's just so much to be grateful for. I mean, opportunity here is vast. Democracy is really what it's all kind of spelled out to me, because you look around the world, like it does. There's no such thing as dissenting opinion, on certain things, and freedom of press, and those kind of things are sacred here. Like if you didn't know the other side, you could take it for advantage. So, and I'm grateful, man. I love 4th of July too because everybody's singing the patriotic songs. I brought up the Star Spangled Banner last week, but I mean, just hearing everybody kind of come together, whether left, right, up, down, wherever you're at, like everyone can get on board with that. And that means we're still fundamentally well, so that's all I got.
Good stuff, Bill. Thank you, man. That was good. Corey, my bud.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you guys have said. And man, Bill, you said it really well too. Like I've always struggled with those who cannot separate the idea, the foundation, the fundamentals of the country versus the government, because our government's not our country, Of course it's necessary evil in some respects, or I can't think of a better way to put that at the moment. But when we're talking about America, like our politicians and those in power, really the last thing I'm thinking of. Man, I was too young to really see it firsthand. But stories are still told today of the day after 9/11 and how this country came together. And I've definitely done plenty. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I remember 9/11. I was in kindergarten, but I do remember certain parts of the day. I can vividly remember my mom crying watching the TV, and because she had my brother pick me up from kindergarten, and I can remember that stuff. I don't remember 9/12/2001, but we know today that was probably the most whole the American people were in modern history, I would imagine. Obviously we don't want tragedies like that to make that happen, but to know that that's, deep down inside of us is something to think about, I think. And furthermore, I'm an American Revolution guy. I love the history and everything that went with that. Just I'll say shout out to Philadelphia for being the birthplace of our country. Just saying.
Yeah.
But man, no joke. I made my dad, I think 7 times in 1 year when I was maybe 12 or so, take me to historic Philadelphia because the stuff just it was so fascinating to me how that all kind of transpired and some of the greatest minds in our history, how that, I mean, America's like the greatest underdog ever, if you think about it, right? I mean, me being ignorant to other world history, but as far as in our history, we're underdogs, and we were able to make this country into what it is. And all the pros and cons that you guys had talked about are facts of our lives today, and they're freedoms we enjoy. They're freedoms that are probably abused sometimes, but that's our right to do so, I guess, But yeah, but man, that was my main thing was like, I don't give a shit either. I've had talks with people that just like, I'm so ashamed to be an American because so-and-so is in office or whatever and this and that. Motherfucker, the amount of people, sorry, I did it. I'm sorry. Yeah. But sorry. the amount of
well
people.
Placed. Hey, Brian Beatty says a well-placed F-bomb is necessary sometimes.
I know. That's true. The amount of people that died for you to feel ashamed to be an American is just astounding. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. Doesn't matter what, like Bill was saying, doesn't matter what aisle you sit on or whatever you believe, man. Like, I feel, what did I like? God, country, and family. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
in any order.
That stuff in any order. Yeah. God first, probably. I'd say God first. Without God, we don't have a country or a family. Right. At least us, we don't.
Yeah.
Or we're great burdens on our country if we don't have God.
We've been that too. So
yeah. So anyway, man, I am very grateful to be an American and to enjoy all the freedoms I have. So
Very good. I've just a kind of an example, and I want to touch quickly on it, and we'll kind of roll. I can kind of roll it right into our recovery segment. But you guys, spot on, awesome what you guys said. I think to one of Bill's points, like our government's not our country, and I agree with that. I think that, or maybe Corey said that, and as bad or as good as you may think it is, our government and what they do, and there's obviously going to be dissenting opinion on both sides of that. Is there's other governments out there that are really truly oppressing people and like still killing people and killing them for believing a certain way and acting a certain way. And I'm not saying ours is innocent, and I'm sure there's secrets that none of us know about that maybe we do or don't want to know about. But for the most part, I was thinking about this when Greg brought the topic up in our group thread. Like, I was sober, during Obama's, I guess his first term. Yeah, it was '08, right? So his first term. And I can't tell you, like, nothing really about my life from 2011 when I got sober to today, 2024. God, this seems like such a long time when I say it like that. Like, no matter who's been in office, no matter what's been going on politically and governmentally, like, I've kind of just carried on my life as I would no matter what, and maybe there's some micro changes, but nothing has been like, oh my God, my life is drastically different today than it was 6 months ago, or whatever the case may be, because of or as a result of anything going on, right? Again, I know we could all have a deeper conversation on that, but and once I had a family and kids, I started to like pay attention more to that stuff. And here's my example, is when COVID hit, the whole world pretty much shut down, right? And this is as much of a shout out to the state of Florida, but the state of Florida being a part of and part of our idea of government as letting the states be sovereign and make their own decisions. And it's going to sound kind of dumb, but golf courses stayed open in Florida. Like, when there was literally nothing else to do, you could still go play golf. And I remember being extremely grateful for that, because we could go outside, we could do things, it was still something to do. And if you look at the numbers, worldwide, but especially countrywide on golf from, a certain point in 2020 and on, is the numbers skyrocketed because those were places that did open up in other states. They'd opened up and they allowed people to do whatever and play, and people wanted to get outside and do things. So I remember living here in Florida and being like so grateful that we lived here in Florida, because there was still stuff to do. It wasn't like some other states that I heard about, right? And how it took, a couple years for some of these other states to, like, quote unquote, open back up. So I can't even imagine that, right? So that's like a small kind of dumb example, and maybe it's not dumb, but it was real to me at the time. And my dad, right? My dad, who lives alone and like is a teacher, like that's his life. He was a coach and a teacher. There's nothing else for him to do. He could come play golf with me and my friends, and and stuff like that. So, and I think, no matter what the issues of our country is, no matter what all of it, like, it is up to each individual, us and other individuals, to bring that idea of unity and how we want and see this country and this world, to bring that to the people we meet, right? To bring that to our daily encounters. And it's kind of like a piece from the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And that verse does not mean I'm waiting for the kingdom to come to me and I'm waiting to go to heaven. It means that I have to bring the kingdom of heaven to each individual in my daily life. I have to bring that spirit. And the same thing can be said about, I have to bring that spirit of love and tolerance and unification and country and togetherness and whatever, how we see it, even if people, disagree or view it differently. And I love what you guys said, that they have the right to say that stuff, or they have the right to be wrong, if you want to even say it like that. So, cool little topic. Greg, that was a great idea in honor of Independence Day. And I want to kind of roll that right into our recovery segment. And this was Corey's idea, and he kind of said it in jest, but like, I appreciated what he said. We want to talk about like relapse, right? Why it happens, relapse prevention, which sounds so treatment term, but kind of like,
but there is relapse prevention, right?
Well, and that's kind of what we want to talk about, right? So I just want to present this topic, and then we'll go and Corey's going to go next, and then we'll go Bill and Greg. So like, I think we obviously, the four of us have by the grace of God, right, have stayed sober multiple years, right, many years, each of us varying degrees of that, and like I've had the conversation with with myself and like many other people over the years, like why some people get it and why some don't. And there's all kinds of logistical things I can do to help myself stay sober and to like, get through another day, so to speak, and go to bed and wake up and hopefully start fresh. And, you know, but one of the things I see is I like people, we are so unwilling to let go of some of those old ideas that are absolutely not working anymore. And I know that's kind of a broad, and the people that are listening that don't really know the lingo might be like, well, what does that mean? Like for instance, and I'll use Corey and Greg as an example because you guys are back in the gym, really trying to get fit and but you guys are doing it like in the right way. Like you guys are not like, you're not being vain about it. You're not, neglecting your other responsibilities. Like, and we all know those people, those meatheads, and I'm not, nothing against that, and really and truly. But my point is, with people in recovery, that's an example of, I place so much emphasis on these other material, secular, vain things, whether it's job, money, girls, working out, material, whatever it is, or just simply I get vain in my own ideas. And I think, and I can't see other people's opinion, kind of like what we were just talking about, right? One of our books says, you know, a respect for other people's opinions and viewpoints is truly what makes us effective, right? And having that respect. So I just want to lay that out. I want you guys to take it any direction that you have. We'll start with Corey, and let's see where this takes us. So go ahead, bud.
I like all that, Sean. And like when I didn't mean to like interrupt you, but I actually did mean to interrupt, come to think on it. But not in a rude way.
I passed it to you.
No, but before, when I said there is a relapse prevention, because like
I
do. Well, I wanted to talk about this actually. I put a note in my phone about it, like literally relapse prevention. And I feel so stupid when I do that because I'm not a treatment guy. We already know that. And that's something that's talked about a lot in treatment is what's your relapse prevention plan. The last time I was in treatment, I told my therapist that God was going to be my relapse prevention plan because I had finally gotten sober, believe it or not, or was on the course of getting sober. I mean, I was physically sober. You know what I mean? And she wasn't impressed with that plan at all. She thought that I should be talking about, what kind of work I'm going to be doing, what kind of, I'm going to follow through with getting like another therapist or something and whatever, A, B, and like she had all these support tactics and things like that, which are probably helpful tools and whatever. I guess I said God because I truly believed that. And also because I was lazy and didn't want to write anymore. So that was also true, but it was the most honest I could be too. And what I meant by that and what we've talked about on the podcast here is that I had begun to find a spiritual way of life. I had begun to throw out a bunch of old ideas like you were just talking about, Sean, like things that I thought I was so damn right about for so long that, finally drugs and alcohol had beaten me up enough to make me realize that I didn't know what I was doing. And, I actually spent part of the day yesterday, part of Independence Day, with a couple newcomers in some capacity, newcomers to sobriety. And we talked a lot about that, actually. We talked a lot about how, the best way to like finally get sober is to not know how to get sober and to kind of talk to people that seem to know how to get sober, right? Furthermore, on specifically on the topic of like relapse, when I posed that to you guys, I did some thinking on it. Man, I don't know how many times I actually relapsed. If you like, I know this might be like splitting hairs or whatever, but like, come to think on it, I don't know how many times I changed as a person. I don't think I did until this last time. You know, when we're talking about relapse, we're probably more so talking on the surface level of like being abstinent for a time and picking back up, right? But in reality, I never changed a single thing except I dried out for maybe a little period of time. It usually wasn't very long. At one point, it was about 5 months. That was like the most time I had gathered by myself without, you know, support and a spiritual way of life and all that stuff that we're talking about. And that was some shady ass sobriety, but I mean, to say the least. So like when you think about it like that, like, man, how many times did I actually like relapse, so to speak? But you know, the times that I did pick up again after some time, it was because nothing ever changed. It was because I didn't change as a person. It was because I refused to get out and ask anybody for help, you know, like actually take like a position of humility of learning from people that seem to be sober and happy. I wanted to hold on to, like you were talking about, Sean, it was perfect. I wanted to hold on to everything that I was doing. I just eventually I learned that I couldn't use and not have consequences. So like, well, that sucks. I guess I'll have to stay sober for now and get through probation or whatever, that kind of thing. So that was kind of my experience. I also wanted to bring up, and I don't even know if I have a lot to say about it, but I just want to throw it out there in case any of you guys want to touch on it too. But like, you know, for one, you know, relapse happens. We see it very often. You'll get a lot of people to say, "Oh, relapse is a necessary part of recovery." No, it's not. It's not. But it happens. You know, we talk a lot about not shooting our wounded. You know, a lot of people tend to. I got to shut up here in a second. But a lot of people tend to drift off from our recovery community. They normally do that. Well, I wouldn't say well before they use again, but sometimes in some cases it's a little while before they use again. Like the disease starts to work. It seems that the disease starts to work on them, right? And kind of isolates them and whatever. You know, actually, not that I want to sound like a dick here, but like aside from a couple that I can think about, I mean, we've known a lot of people. We've either heard of or known a lot of people that have died. All four of us. I would be willing to bet, and at least it's true in my own life, that like a majority percentage of them I hadn't heard from in forever. You know, and that's kind of, we talk about like staying in the middle of the boat of recovery and like, you know, with people, like we talk about doing together what we can't do alone, right? And that's that stuff. Like when I become alone again, it gets kind of hairy. I wanted to throw this out there, and I'm going to shut up. Those people that have some years and go back out, you know, what does that look like? What has that looked like in our experience? We us four have been, you know, thank God, have not had that experience. I mean, I don't know if anybody, have you guys ever had like serious time before? Like serious time meaning multiple years? I didn't either. So thank God to this point we're still here and stuff, but that's not the case for everybody. It seems to me that, man, that pride and shame and everything is 10 times worse when people have had time before, and that kind of sucks. But, you know, like I said, just to wrap up, relapse is not a necessary part of recovery. In fact, I don't like hearing that at all, but it does happen. We don't shoot our wounded. You're always welcome back. We'll greet you with open arms. And honestly, like, normally you're in a setting of a bunch of people that have fucked their lives up many times. So welcome. That's it.
Cool. Thank you, Corey. Go ahead, Bill.
All right. Yeah, I was just sitting there reminiscing while Corey was talking about a few things. Relapse prevention is case by case basis. I'm not really in a particular position to be able to tell you what your exact recipe is to prevent a relapse. You know, it could be a myriad, it could be multiple different things, you know. From my own personal experience, I thought I was ready a few times, and you know, I thought I was ready when I was on methadone. You know, my first rehab I went to was they allowed you to stay on methadone, so I was like, oh, perfect. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like up in my dose and all this, and I leave and I AMA. Come crawling back a couple weeks later, and the owner's like, if you want to come back in here, I had nowhere really else to go. But she's like, if you want to come back in here, you're going to get off methadone. And I was like, okay, no problem. But she just looked at me and she's like, you're a sick F, you know? And, but she let me back in there. And during the course of this 30 days, like, it was like, I was hallucinating. I mean, it was bad, you know? And, but during the course of this, somebody started reading a book with me, and the book started to make sense, you know what I mean? And it was spiritually based, and I was always thought of myself as an atheist. And I got these things, and I had these connections that were kind of driven, and I felt something, you know what I mean? Like it lightened the load and all this. And I'm like, I got something here, you know? But I was still so far off, you know what I mean? I was so far off. And you know, like I bring this back because I'm here now. A very close family member of mine brought me a handwritten note from my grandmother. And now, so I talk about this a lot, and I try to not talk about it so much, but it's very important. It's like my dad died when I was 9 months old. My mom had 19 years sober, was not sober, and died. You know what I mean? So what's the relapse prevention for that? You know, like that person wasn't going to go back in the rooms because of the pride. You know what I mean? Like there's so much pride there. You help so many people, and now I'm going to go back there and be the one that, you know, wants to be helped, right? So anyway, I get this. My uncle brings me this note, and it was a handwritten letter from January 20th, 1986, from my grandmother to my dad. It says, "Hey, we're thinking about our future, closing down the restaurant. What we want to do. We're going to offer you an opportunity to take over, manage the restaurant. These are the things you need to do. 1, have a relationship with God. 2, stay on Antibar, I think it was called. It was like an anti-alcohol and drug, like an original Suboxone type of deal. 3, prioritize your kids and your family and the restaurant and make sacrifices, you know? And it was like, if you want this offer, we want you to take the offer. We want you to think about it. We're willing to offer you this instead of selling the restaurant, because no one else in the family really wanted the restaurant, and he wasn't on a winning streak at this point. So sure enough, down at the bottom, my grandma and my grandpa signed, and he signed as well. Well, that's January 20th, 1986. He died February 2nd, 1986. So within a couple weeks, he was dead. You know what I mean? And you know, I had a talk with my uncle, and you know, I'm like, it's just tragic. But the truth is, through my own recovery, is like, I'm not mad anymore about it. I'm not mad that he's gone. I look at him as a fallible person that was afflicted with a disease that I was lucky to overcome. When I came back out of that rehab, I was overdosing on fentanyl in people's bathrooms, waking up the next day like dead. I was dead. You know what I mean? I don't know how I survived this. I don't know why. I know why now, but like I didn't know why, you know. And he died at 30. I got sober at 30. I mean, that's 2 completely different trajectories and a crossroad. You know what I mean? Look at how it affected my life, and look at how my life is affected. Today, I get sad that my kids can't know my parents. You know what I mean? But and I said to my uncle, I said, it's tragic. I said, I wish I could heal your pain, you know, to my uncle and his sister and everybody else in the family, you know, but I can't. But I do know part of all that combination of that experience got me to where I am today. You know, it got me sober by the grace of God, you know, stand for something or fall for anything, you know. And I finally took a stand. And, you know, those kind of things, man, that's real life. And we see it all the time. It's just, man, it just runs really deep because the pain that caused residually down a family line has affected a whole entire branch of the family. You know what I mean? And there's just so many things I can say, but like I can't really tell somebody exactly. Like I can show you some instructions that I know, and you can follow those to the best of your ability. But like I couldn't go like, boom, dude, this is what you need. You know what I mean? Because it's such a grace that we operate in, like on a day to day. Like Sean was talking about before the show, the fear of, did they pump me up? He was, when you're sick, like, did they pump me up with drugs? And I like, what if you're unconscious? You just never know. Like, you know what I mean? Like what kind of experience you're going to have. And we're really operating out of grace, man. And there's a lot of things you can do to pad the stats and make that a better chance of success. And that's what I try to focus on. Yeah. But relapse prevention is get in the middle of the room and the tribe, and find the tribe of people who are recovered, the people you want to be like. Get in the middle of that, be open, shut up. That's one thing I had to do. Stop talking, stop acting like I know what I'm doing, unless I'm arguing with Sean about something. And just shut up and like look up to people. I could never look up to people. I could never like, nah, I'm the shit. I'm homeless. You know what I mean? I'm not, did I? You know what I mean?
I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, I was homeless, and this guy's offered me a chance to come to Florida. This is when I got sober, and I had to think about it. Like I was making excuses. He's like, dude, CJ already told me you can't stay at his house anymore. I know you're sleeping outside. I packed up my 20 little grocery bags into his Ford Fiesta or whatever the hell he was driving. And, but I was debating this shit, like, because I just couldn't. And then even coming in the whole thing of a mentor and that, and maybe that affected me because not having a dad and things, but like that surrender, like I will look up to somebody, that was really important because like Sean became like a brother to me very quickly that I trusted, you know what I mean? I was able to elevate slowly but surely. One day I even stopped arguing with him. So, so I wish everyone success, you know what I mean? Another thing that I see real quick on that letter is like, I was mad because my dad had so many people that loved him and were like, so like I had a much thinner ice to skate on, like growing up, you know what I mean? Like he had so much love that it was almost I won't say harmful, but like it made me mad. Like, dude, you couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So like, that's another thing. If you're on the opposite side of this and you're dealing with somebody, cut the strings, man. Like that was the best thing for me, as hard as that is. Yeah. But that's the only way. Like you could never, if they gave him that restaurant, it would not have been success. You know what I mean? It would have been, it just sadly wouldn't have worked. You know what I mean? And they would have gave anything for that. So yeah, man, it's grace.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Bill. Mm-hmm. Our one of our textbooks says, we shall tell you what we have done, right? To your point about we're not telling anybody you should do this or you got to do that, or we shall tell you our experience. This is how we got sober. This is what we did. So go ahead, Greg, wrap us up, buddy.
Really, I'm going to try and be quick. I love you boys and I love this stuff, man. This is my relapse prevention program looked like the one that the therapist had me write out in rehab was like, I need a good job. That's first and foremost. I need a job. I need a set of wheels, whether it be a bicycle at first, maybe a car afterwards. I need something to take up my time, probably a female, and if she's good enough, she will keep me sober, right? And some money in the bank, right? Those were the things that I needed, right? So very much the same way. Like my therapist looked at me like I was a nutball, right? Thankfully, I am one of those people that once I was for real about this, once I gave it an honest shot, like, I went to a string of detoxes up here for a few years, like bounced in and out, tried to do the methadone, the Suboxone thing. And I would make it a couple days if I was lucky, right? If I was really fiending, I was calling the guy like 2 seconds out of detox when I'd convinced my mom, hey mom, they said I'm not as bad as everybody else in this detox, so you can come pick me up. I know it's only day 3, but I'm graduated. I'm good, right? So I would never make it long at all. But when I finally took it serious, when it was serious enough, the gravity of the situation had reached the point where it was serious enough, and I was ready to stop. I didn't know how I was going to do so. thankfully, from that point, here we are 8 years later, and I have not relapsed, and I have not gone back to that old way of life. I get asked a lot of times, whether it's like if I go, go back to that same detox and speak to people there, in the different recovery groups and stuff like that. Like I get asked like, well, what's the secret, right? And what's the, unfortunately it's not any big secret, right? I say it all the time, but like Sean didn't teach me a magic trick, and there's nothing, no rabbit I'm going to pull out of the hat. It's not counting backwards from 20. It's not pinching myself. It's not eating chocolate or keeping chocolate around so that I, can feel the need to do something like that. It's none of that, man. Like I have to work on myself, right? And I have to go through the process of, what we've talked about for weeks and weeks, of what this is, right? And, for me, one of the things that stuck out so much from one of our recovery texts, and it's something that I one of my favorite lines, it talks about like at some point all of those consequences that we had for our actions and all the negative ramifications of our use and everything like that, we will not be able to recall any of that stuff with enough sufficient memory in order to put a wall up to stop us, right? Because that was my rationale is like, oh, okay, well, if I touch a hot stove, well, I'm not going to do that again, right? Or if I make this one mistake at work and drop a box of nails on my foot, like I'm not going to make that same mistake again. But it doesn't work that way with this stuff, right? It just doesn't. And I will never be able to sit in those same feelings of misery and depression and all that other stuff to say, oh, well, yep, I'm done this time, right? So I have to know that I'm done, right? Or at least want to be done. And then there's a window there. I can't tell you what your window is. I didn't even know what my window was. All I know is that I needed help and I needed help from somebody. So I went to a mentor and he took me through this stuff and he explained these things about myself and about himself. And basically, essentially, he was asking me those questions. Are you done or do you want to be done? Do you think that you can do this on your own or are you beyond human aid? And, are you ready to turn your life over to something else? Are you ready to make a decision to do something different than you've ever done before? And the answer was yes to all those things. And I had no idea how I was going to do it, but we went through a process and thankfully, man, I haven't gone back to my old way of living. That's not to say there haven't been some miserable days along the way. That's not to say I haven't had to deal with deaths of loved ones, family members, things like that, and just all around like rough times. Lose a job, lose a girlfriend, any one of those things, right? But here's the deal. And I was thinking about this when Bill was talking about being homeless, man, because I remember it, and it's like what a blessing that is today. Because if all of this all around me, man, if I lose this tomorrow, I'm still good in here, right? So that's the beauty of it, man. But to those people that like the guys we're talking about, because we've lost people like that, where it's that pride will get to you, right? So you everybody that's out there that's strung some time together and everything like that, the deal, what you're supposed to be doing, and that you're 9 times out of 10 where to go to find the people to surround yourself with. Get back in the middle of those people, do what you did from jump. Don't let your ego screw with you. And that's the greatest thing about recovery, man. It's free to all. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Greg. It is an inside job, that's for sure. And each individual has to settle it for themselves. Each individual, we can say out loud and on the surface, oh, I was doing everything I can, or I don't know, what happened. But like, I think every single one of us, when we've, started to believe and started to make that internal change, and then we stop doing certain things that were working, or we start doing certain things that may not be conducive to a spiritual way of life, we know in our hearts, right? In golf, they say the hitter knows, right? The hitter knows if you hit a good shot or not, no matter what it looks like or sounds like to other people watching. Same thing in recovery. We know internally, it's an inside job, and only we can gauge, along with our God and what we believe in, if we've truly changed. And I think a lot of it has to do on, what we were talking about in our first segment of the viewpoints of life and the perception and how we think about other people, not just treat other people, right? But my Emmett Fox talks about like that thought process is really where it all starts, right? I have to think about other people in a loving and compassionate way before I can even act that way. So good stuff, guys. I think we do pretty good on when we just kind of throw some stuff out there and just start talking. I think that's pretty good. I think we do good stuff there. Yep. So safe travels, Bill, tomorrow. If you're heading back, shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all social media handles at Trudge Report Pod. Remember, you can email us at our Yahoo account, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send in your requests for anything and everything you might want. We are all here, as you already know, and as you can see, we're here to talk about our experiences in recovery or whatever you guys got going on. Corey can give you a little relapse prevention 101. Call 5 alcoholics a day, write a gratitude list, all that good stuff.
Write that gratitude list.
Thank you again.
If you're doing everything you can, you won't have time to talk about.
That's right. There you go. That's exactly right.
You'll just be fucking doing it.
That's exactly right. Thank you again to Miss Janine Stella and Stella Mix Podcast Management. Good night. God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny. See you next week.